8 years ago, my ex cheated with everyone. Students, strangers, even his exes, while I struggled to feed our newborn. He smirked as he walked away, thinking he'd won. But I had a plan. I left him humiliated, broke, and begging for forgiveness. Stick around for a revenge story so epic, you'll be cheering for 30 minutes straight. Ever been betrayed by someone you trusted and dreamed of serving them justice so cold it gives you chills? If that's you, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and buckle up for one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll ever hear. This one's a wild ride. Let's dive in. 8 years ago, I was 24, living in a cramped apartment that smelled of baby powder, burnt toast, and dreams I thought were coming true. My name's Sarah. Not really, but let's roll with it. And I was a new mom, head over heels for my husband, Ethan, and our newborn daughter, Lily. Our place was a mess of mismatched furniture, with a leaky faucet that dripped like a metronome and a crib squeezed into the corner. The walls were thin, letting in the hum of city traffic and the occasional shout from the street below. Money was tight, but I was happy. Ethan was my rock, or so I thought. A college instructor with a quick wit and a smile that could charm anyone. He promised we'd build a life together. I believed him. I was wrong. The first year of marriage was a blur of sleepless nights and diaper changes. I'd given up my job to care for Lily, pouring every ounce of myself into keeping her fed, warm, and safe. Ethan was supposed to be the provider, the partner, the one who had my back. But slowly the cracks started showing. He'd come home late, his clothes carrying a faint whiff of perfume that wasn't mine. His phone buzzed at odd hours, and he'd angle it away when I walked by. His fingers quick to lock the screen. I brushed it off at first. New mom exhaustion, right? Maybe he was stressed. Maybe I was imagining things. But deep down, a knot was forming in my gut, a quiet warning I couldn't ignore. I remember sitting up at 3 a.m., Lily asleep in my arms, staring at Ethan's empty side of the bed. My chest ached, not just from exhaustion but from a growing fear. Was I enough? Was I crazy for doubting him? I'd given him everything. My trust, my future, my heart. And the thought of him throwing it away made my throat tighten. I felt small, invisible, like I was disappearing under the weight of motherhood and his lies. But I wasn't ready to face it. Not yet. Then came the night that shattered everything. Ethan was out grading papers, and Lily was fussy, so I grabbed his old laptop to play some music. A notification pinged. An email left open. Curiosity got the better of me, and I clicked. What I found was a gut punch. Flirty messages from his students, explicit emails from women he'd met online, even call logs with his exes. My hands shook as I scrolled, my breath coming in sharp, shallow gasps. He wasn't just cheating, he was living a double life. While I was skipping meals to afford formula, Ethan was blowing our money, on drinks, gifts, and hotel rooms for these women. I was keeping our daughter alive. He was out there betraying us both. Ethan wasn't just a cheater. He was a master manipulator. Tall and lean, with slicked back hair and a wardrobe of pretentious button-ups. He carried himself like he was untouchable. His hazel eyes could go from warm to cold in a second, and his smile? It was a weapon, disarming anyone who crossed his path. He thrived on being the center of attention. His colleagues admired his brilliance. His friends worshipped his charisma, and his students hung on his every word. But behind the charm was a man who saw people as pawns, especially me. He'd come home, kiss my forehead, and lie to my face, knowing I was too tired, too trusting to question him. That smugness, that entitlement made my blood boil. He thought he could have it all. His family, his flings, his perfect little life, while I suffered. I confronted him, tears streaming, voice cracking. He didn't even flinch. "You're overreacting," he said, leaning back in his chair like I was a child throwing a tantrum. "It's not what you think." Gaslighting me, dismissing me like my pain was nothing. I wanted to scream, to shake him, to make him feel the raw, ripping agony in my chest. But I didn't. I packed my bags, took Lily, and filed for divorce. I could have dragged him through court, exposed his lies to everyone, But that wasn't enough. I wanted him to hurt like I did, to lose what he valued most. Ethan signed the papers with a smirk, thinking he'd won, free to live his playboy life. Oh honey, you thought wrong. The months after the divorce were brutal. I moved into a tiny one-bedroom apartment, the kind where the radiator clanked all night and the windows rattled in the wind. I got a part-time job at a diner, working shifts around Lily's naps, my hands raw from scrubbing tables. Some days, I'd skip meals to make sure she had enough formula, my stomach growling as I rocked her to sleep. Every bill, every diaper, every sleepless night was a reminder of Ethan's betrayal. I saw his face in every late-night infomercial, every empty promise of a better life. He was out there living it up while I was barely surviving. The injustice of it burned, a constant ache in my chest. I wasn't just angry, I was done. Done being the victim, done letting him win. One night, I sat on the floor of my apartment, Lily asleep in her crib, a stack of unpaid bills on the table. My hands stopped shaking. My tears dried. I looked at Lily's tiny face, her soft breath steady, and something shifted. I wasn't going to let Ethan's betrayal define me. I wasn't going to let him walk away unscathed. He'd taken my trust, my security, my dignity, but he wasn't going to take my strength. I wanted him to feel the sting of betrayal, to lose the control he cherished. My heart hardened. I wasn't just going to get even. I was going to rebuild myself and destroy his world in the process. My plan started small, but it was surgical. Ethan's life revolved around his social circle. His colleagues, his friends, his reputation. That was his throne, and I was going to burn it down. I started with his colleagues, the ones he bragged about being like family. I'd show up at their faculty mixers, all smiles and charm, my hair swept up, my dress hugging my curves. A few drinks, some well-timed laughs, and they were eating out of my hand. They spilled his secrets, his affairs, his lies, his late-night escapades. I didn't stop there. His best friends, the guys he'd known since college, were next. I'd crash their poker nights, play the heartbroken ex just looking for a friend. One by one they fell for it, crossing lines Ethan thought were sacred. It wasn't about love or lust. It was about power. Every connection I took from him was a piece of his empire crumbling. But I wanted him to feel the knife twist up close. 6 months after the divorce, I called him. Played sweet, vulnerable, suggesting we meet to catch up. He bit, thinking he still had a hold over me. We met at his apartment, the same place we'd shared, now a mess of empty beer cans, takeout boxes, and the stale smell of neglect. I let him think we were rekindling something. Let him pull me close, his cologne sharp and suffocating. My skin crawled, but I smiled. I played the part, my heart steady, my plan crystal clear. The next morning I struck. We sat at his kitchen table, coffee mug steaming, the morning light harsh on his smug face. I looked him in the eye, voice calm but cutting. You thought you could cheat on me, spend our money, leave me to rot? Guess what, Ethan? I've been with your colleagues, your best friends, even that guy you call your brother. They chose me over you. His face drained of color, then flushed red. His jaw dropping like a broken hinge. You're lying, he stammered, his voice cracking, hands gripping the table. I leaned in, voice low and deadly. Am I? Ask them. Then I stood, grabbed my bag and walked out, head high, leaving him to choke on his shattered ego. The door clicked shut behind me and I felt it, a rush of triumph like a weight lifting off my chest. But I wasn't done. 2 months later I went for the kill. I called him, voice trembling like I was scared, broken. Ethan, I'm pregnant. I want us to be a family again. He bought it completely, desperate to play the hero, to reclaim some control. For 9 months, he sent me $400 every month, thinking he was supporting our baby. Every check was a victory, every dollar a reminder of his betrayal. I saved every cent, building a nest egg for me and Lily, my hands steady as I deposited each one. I pictured him, smug and hopeful, thinking he'd won me back. It made the final blow even sweeter. 9 months later I called him one last time. My voice was cold, flat like a blade. The baby. It didn't make it, I said. He sobbed, his voice breaking, begging to see me, to talk, to fix things. I let him ramble, let him pour out his guilt, his pain. Then I hung up, blocked his number, and vanished from his life. There was no baby. There was no family. There was just me, outsmarting him at his own game. He was left with nothing. His friends gone, his pride obliterated, his bank account drained. I pictured him alone in that messy apartment, reeling, his world in ashes, while I was thriving. A new job, a better apartment, and Lily's laughter filling my days. I'd won, and the victory was sweeter than anything I'd ever tasted. The aftermath was the cherry on top. Word spread. His colleagues distanced themselves, his friends cut ties, his reputation as the golden boy crumbled. He was left a shell, humiliated, broke, and probably still waking up at night, haunted by the look on my face when I walked away. I didn't just get revenge. I rebuilt myself, stronger, smarter, untouchable. Lily and I were free, and Ethan. He'd never hurt us again. Was it ruthless? Maybe. But when someone betrays you, leaves you starving while they live it up, sometimes you have to play dirty to rise above. Ethan thought he'd broken me, but I showed him I'm unbreakable. Karma doesn't always come on its own. You have to make it happen. And when you do, it's the sweetest thing in the world. If this story had you pumping your fist, smash that like button and drop a comment. What's the most savage revenge you've ever seen? A cheater getting owned, or something even wilder? Tell us below. And if you're hooked on epic payback tales like this, hit subscribe and ring that bell. More are coming your way. See you in the next one.